Hey everyone, welcome back to This Month in Vinyl, where I catalog the records I got over the past month. Before I start, I want to say to all of my kings out there who survived No Nut November, congratulations! You are an elite few. Now, with that out of the way, let's get looking at the vinyl. Right, pretty cool. I actually got a lot this month, more than I thought I was gonna. But one of my friends, extended an invitation. You know, Brian, the guy I go to the flea market with, and he wanted to know if I wanted to go to Brattleboro with him, and I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And we went to a few record stores there, and we got some good stuff. Brian, especially, if this was his show, there'd be some pretty cool stuff, and it'd also be significantly longer because he gets way more shit than I do. But one of the things he got, I think like the biggest thing he got was a first press of Black Flag's Damaged, which I don't know if you follow people follow. Well, actually, never mind. You know, we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, I was listening. We did a little listen of it when we got back from Brattleboro, and it sounded really good. And that ran quite a bit of cash, more so than I've ever paid for one record. But he really loves Black Flag, so worth it. If he thinks it's worth it, it's worth it. Before I go into this stack though, I need to grab something because I almost forgot it this time, but I knew I wasn't going to forget it twice. I forgot to show off a record I got last month. I guess I forgot it because it showed up pretty early in the month, but yeah, this is the Soft Bulletin by the Flaming Lips. So if you don't know who Vinyl Me Please are, they're a like record club thing that you like pay a certain amount of money a month, and they send you one record of like an essentials category. They have like a classics category and like a rap and hip hop category too that you can subscribe to, and you'll get a record that they curate each month. I've subscribed to them before, like last year or so when they announced the Arctic Monkeys, whatever people say I am repress. I have that over there. I'll show it another time. But if you're a fan of Arctic Monkeys, that's a really good pressing of it. It looks really nice. It comes with this great art, like a photo book of a bunch of art from the from like the location the album is sort of based on, and like promotional material from the album. But enough about that shit. This is the Soft Bulletin. It's album by the Flaming Lips, who I never really listened to until this point. Like, you know, I knew some of the songs because everyone knows like Vaseline and Do You Realize and stuff. But I decided I would take a chance on this album because I wanted to get another record that they were going to release soon after this one. And I mean, this album was pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised by it. It came with this cool like holographic. I think they're called lithograms, right? Is that what it says? Oh, sorry, lenticular cover art, which is nice. It kind of reminds me of the Majora's Mask cover, if any of you had that game. And one thing I will say is I'm not really a fan of these like little spine things. They're like kind of nice, I suppose, but they end up just being a pain in the ass to when you're trying to put like the records back in and you want to keep these. And I want to keep these because they're part of the package. I can't really help myself and just throw them away. They come with little like drink mixes. I don't really like fix myself a drink when I listen to records, but I guess it's an aesthetic or a vibe or whatever. it's not a gatefold, but it is a double LP. It comes with this like cool art print too, by Wayne Coyne. Captures the album pretty well. Yeah. Sometimes Vinyl Me Please will have like this really sought after repress, like they did Demon Days and Fiona Apple's Tidal a few years ago. But sometimes they'll have more common records at when they that are just like represses. But they usually when it's usually stuff like that, they like to make a bang for your buck, even though it is kind of expensive to subscribe. But it's on like a mustard yellow, which is a decent color, I suppose. It kind of fits the album, I'd say. And I did like this album quite a bit, or pretty good at least. I thought it was a pretty good album. Just show this shit. I don't regret spending the money on it or anything. But yeah, you might think I did because I completely forgot about it last time, but I promise you I didn't. I like this record. Ugh. So yeah, that's the Soft Bulletin. That was technically from October, so we are almost 7 minutes into the video, and I haven't even gotten into my records I got this month. I hope I don't end up running out of space on the fucking camera again. It's a pain in the ass. I wish it would tell me when it's like running out of space. It has no indication for that. I might have like outgrown this camera already, which is a pain. You're kind of seeing what I mean by these things being a fucking pain in the ass. There we go. So that's that. Let's. Do I want to start with this one? I don't want to start with that one. We're gonna end with that one because that's the most recent one I got. I'm not. I don't know if I'm still doing chronological because these all kind of came around the same times, and my memory's a little hazy. But most of these are from the trip or the day I went to Brattleboro, and a little while after we went to Bull Moose, where I got even more records. Just a very record-filled day. But the first, so one of the ones I got was in Brattleboro. There's a place called Turn It Up, which is a music store, and they just. I almost walked out of there with nothing, but instead I turned around and I impulse bought this My Bloody Valentine compilation album. I didn't know it was a compilation when I bought it, but it was $20. And I have heard of My Bloody Valentine for a while. Been meaning to listen to them, so I figured I would try this. I would try this record and listen to it. And first of all, it's on it's really heavy, like a hefty record. I don't know if it's like 180, but it's close to it. If not, maybe like 150 or something. Yeah, it says is from like 2001 or so. And what this is, it's a compilation of like their singles and stuff from before. I think like there's a compilation of like songs from their like singles and like EPs or B-sides that were all from before their first album. So this isn't exactly a good example of what their sound is like, because My Bloody Valentine's like kind of like a shoegazy band. This is a lot more. I don't even know how to describe it. It's a lot more like kind of like new wave, but I liked it a lot, and I decided I would listen to their albums. And their first album I thought was like pretty good, but I'd have to listen to it again to say whether or not I really liked it. But Loveless I listened to like the after, and that is a good album. I like that one a lot. So despite My Bloody Valentine, Things Left Behind not being indicative of their style, it still ended up getting me into them in the first place. And Another interesting thing about this is that I'm pretty sure this is a bootleg release. Um, I was looking up stuff about it online, and all signs seem to point to that. So that's interesting. Um, I don't have a lot of bootlegs in my collection. In fact, that Luigi's Mansion soundtrack, the Lathe Cut, I believe was the first bootleg I ever had. Uh, pretty bootleg records in general are pretty fascinating to me, just like from an idea standpoint. Because you'll get stuff that's a lot more rare in a way. Sort of like maybe not necessarily what the band wants you to see, but like stuff that is a little more out there for a more like so what I'm looking for, dedicated fan. But enough about that. Here is Duran Duran's Seven and the Ragged Tiger. I have a few Duran Duran records. I believe I have their self-titled Rio, and now I have Seven and the Ragged Tiger. And I don't know what it is. What's up with this particular outer sleeve I have, but it's really snug. Kind of bugs me. But yeah, this album is pretty fucking good. I was surprised, to say the least. Not necessarily because like Duran Duran. I guess it sort of is because I like in the past I'd wrote off Duran Duran as kind of like a jokey band, not like a band to necessarily take too seriously. But this album is really good. It's got a lot of cool like new waves, like new wave tracks. It's got Union of the Snake, which is the main reason why I bought this, because I love that song a lot. It's a really great song. And I got this at the Bull Moose for like $6, and it's in pretty great condition. I didn't hear any like pops or anything or any like crackles, not that I can recall. But and the only thing is that someone wrote their name on this. They wrote their name on like the outside on like the little lip on the outside sleeve. They wrote their name on the inner sleeve, and they wrote their name on the front thing of side A. I don't want to say whose name it is because they're obviously a real person, but whoever if you're watching this, Tom, thank you for taking good care of your records. You even kept the Duran Duran club invitation, like RSVP. This thing's really cool. I know a lot of bands like had stuff like this, but I've never had a record that still had one of those things in there, if most records did have those. So that's cool. This was a surprise for me. I did not expect to like this album as much as I did. And I'll be honest, I probably would not have listened to it if I wasn't collecting records, which is another one of those nice things about this hobby. Ugh, how we doing on time? 13 minutes. I can speed through this. I don't want to go too fast, but I don't think I'll have too much to say about this next one, which is something I got from In the Moment Records. And it's Adam Ant, Friend or Foe. People who watch Flea Market Pickups will know that I got turned on to Adam Ant after buying Viva La Rock, and I really liked that album. This one was pretty good too, but it maybe it was because I wasn't listening to it as seriously as the other one. I was writing while I was listening to it, so it could have glossed over my head a little. Regardless, it's got some good songs on here, like Goody Two Shoes, obviously. I think that's like his most popular song. But yeah, this was I don't regret buying this or anything. I'll probably listen to it again someday. See if my thoughts are the same. Yeah, I like Adam Ant. I think he's pretty good. and I paid about $9 for this, and I'd say that was a pretty good price because once again, it sounded pretty good. It sounded great, and I don't have any regrets. Once again, here's the album art with the backside. I actually like this album art too. It kind of looks like like he took a picture off like an old television, which I'm sure was the like idea he was going for. Next one. Okay, so this is also I got this sort of on impulse from Vinyl Me Please because my subscription goes on until the end of the year. And this is Alex Cameron Miami Memory. It's a Vinyl Me Please exclusive pressing. It's number 349, but who really cares about that? And this is Alex Cameron's third album. This is so goofy. So I first got into Alex Cameron because Anthony Fantano did a review of one of his albums, and I just remember what the fuck is that album called? I'm just gonna look this up. His second album. It's got the really Forced Witness. Okay, thank you. I just the album cover was just very like it kind of stood out to me, but I didn't listen to it. I didn't listen to it like immediately. What happened was I saw Forced Witness, a used copy of it in the record bin at one of the stores I frequent, and pretty much I remembered Anthony Fantano's like glowing review of the album, so I decided I'd pick it up. But that was back in like March or April. So it kind of sat in my collection for a long time until like October or so. I finally listened to it and I really liked it. Like I liked it a lot more than I thought it would. So I decided to listen to Miami Memory, which was brand new at the time, and I also liked it a lot. This guy's really good. Check him out. He sounds a lot like he really captures like an 80s pop vibe, very catchy hooks and stuff. And of course his lyrics are a little more modern. And this is like a peach kind of what the fuck is the word? A peach colored vinyl, which is a nice color. And it sounded good. So I'd say check out Alex Cameron. He's great. And there's a download card in there too. I don't really use the download cards, to be honest. I mostly listen if I'm like streaming music or something from my phone. I'm doing it through Spotify. But maybe one day when I don't have the Spotify subscription anymore, I'll appreciate the download codes. All right. Next up is another one I got from In the Moment in Brattleboro, and this was probably the most not the most expensive. It's tied for the most expensive thing I got there, and it's Depeche Mode's Policy of Truth, the 12-inch single. This was in the new arrivals bin, so I kind of swiped it up immediately. Once again, I have yet to find a Depeche Mode album in the wild. I've only been able to find singles, but this one's really cool. It's actually not the album version of the song. It's a it's a remix. It's a couple remixes. It's the Trans Central mix. Am I getting that right? It's kind of hard to read this font. Yeah, Trans Central mix. And then it's got a Pavlov's dub version of Policy of Truth. And it also comes with a version of Khalid, which was a B-side off of Violator. I actually really like these 12-inch singles. They make it a lot easier to kind of like keep around in the collection. Ooh. And well, the backside isn't very interesting, but this is a gatefold actually. And Tell me this isn't fucking sick. Tell me this isn't cool. Like, come on. I don't know if this is a man or a woman. I think the mystery is part of the appeal, but regardless, nice pinup. It's I believe I believe you know there's pictures of this person I believe at the bottom too, and I look at these and I keep going back and forth. I'm uh if any Depeche Motors end up watching this, let me know in the comments if this is a boy or a girl. I'm going to guess girl. But yeah, I paid $20 for this, and I'd say, it was worth it. Just to kind of like buff up the collection a bit. One day I will get an actual album from them. Eventually, I might just give up and buy it online, but I've kind of held off on doing that. It feels a little less personal that way, but I obviously sometimes I do resort to buying albums online. Next album is Vampire Weekend's Contra. As you can see from the tag here, I paid about $18 for this. This was in the used record bin. It was right next to Father of the Bride. I almost got that because I do like that album a lot, but I had already spent a lot that day, and I should pick one or the other. I shouldn't pick both, and I'll go with Contra over Father of the Bride most days of the week. I do want to say I remember I listened to this a few weeks ago, but I do remember the beginning of side A sounding a little weird. I might just have to like clean it or something. But yeah, I think this like suffered some sort of water damage. Again, it's like it's a pretty hefty record. And like after like track 2 or so, it sounded fine. Like it sounded pretty good. So outside of like track 1 and 2, I don't know if that's a known issue. If anyone has Contra on vinyl can weigh in on that, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, besides that, I don't have much to say about this one, because this is an album I was already familiar with, so it's kind of an easy buy. I will say it's cool. This is like a cool, has like a cool poster sort of thing, a blown up version of the album art. The album art they got sued for because they used this lady's portrait picture without her permission, which I think is pretty funny. Pretty nice cover though, album art. I believe they settled out of court or something. But yeah, good album. That's all I have to say about that. There's no like, I just discovered this band and they're great. Nah, I know they're great. I already knew they're great. Everyone already knows they're good. If you don't, you probably wouldn't like them anyway. We're getting to the home stretch. We only have 3 more. Unfortunately, I think I'll have a lot to say about the last 2, but I'll breeze through this one really quick. This is Hole, Pretty on the Inside. It's their debut studio album. Hole is the 1990s alternative rock / grunge band, led by frontwoman Courtney Love, better known as Kurt Cobain's ex-wife, Billy Corgan's girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, Trent Reznor's maybe, I'm not sure. This album was okay. It was only okay. I'll be honest. It kind of like went over my head, but it kind of just like went over with nothing really special about it for me. I believe their second album has a lot of the hits on it. But the reason I got this was because it was It was the same day we went to Brattleboro. This was at the Bull Moose, and it was marked off 50% from $30. I would have been pissed if I spent $30 on this album, but I spent 15, so I'm not really that upset. It at least is like it's a pretty color, yeah. Sorry if you think colored vinyl is obnoxious, but I'm sorry, I like the colors. I can't help it. Something that is funny though is you see this little dent right here? Yeah. Didn't come like that. I gave this to Brian, and he saw that it was a colored record, and he started playing with the outer sleeve like an asshole, and it dented up against this up against the desk right here, and it made a little boo boo in the cover. Not really a big deal. I just thought that was kind of funny. All right, next. Here's probably like the biggest, like the record I was most looking forward to this month, and the reason I signed up for Vinyl Me Please, and it is Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf. You can't even hear it. This is a very, very good album. I got into Queens of the Stone Age in high school. Again, one of these things. Can't bring myself to throw it out. I got into Queens of the Stone Age in high school. And Songs for the Deaf especially, and I played that shit constantly. I don't play it as much anymore. In fact, I think I like Rated R a little more than this album. But this album, first of all, it's got like kind of an embossed cover, which is cool. But this album was super hard to get for the longest time. It was only pressed in the year it came out in like 2003, and it went for insane prices on like the secondhand market. So I pretty much just like gave up any chances I would have had of getting it, because I wasn't gonna spend like $200 on it. Then Vinyl Me Please announces they are repressing it, and it also they're also like regular represses, but I figured I decided to spring for the Vinyl Me Please version because it comes with some little extra stuff, and it has this really cool translucent red vinyl, which fits the album very well. It kind of looks like blood, which if you've ever listened to Mosquito Song, that's probably one of my favorite songs on the album, and it's the closing track, and it's not really subtle. Jesus, I'll have to talk about this in a second after I'm finished talking about Mosquito Song. It's not really subtle, but the song is definitely totally about cannibalism. If you don't know what I mean, listen to Mosquito Song and tell me I'm wrong, please. So it's a cool gatefold double LP release. My problem with this is, you see this? I have closed it. It is opened. If you have any gatefolds, you know this. You know shit like this. This bugs me. I know it's kinda unavoidable for gatefolds like this, but I really wish... I mean, I've had gatefolds that aren't this difficult, so I don't know what the big deal is. But I wish that I wish it was a little harder for stuff to get caught in the middle area, so that when you fold it back up, it doesn't like break anything or anything like that. Thankfully, this little art piece right here, a little more boring than the Nice cardstock though. It's a little more boring than the Flaming Lips one, but it's iconic. It's associated. It's like the main artwork for Songs for the Deaf. But yeah, I was really looking forward to this one, and I'm glad I have it. I believe, yes, Song for the Deaf and Mosquito Song are on the final side. Very nice. Very great album. I still recommend the album. I know some people have kind of not turned on it, but have kind of gotten over the album because it got like overplayed a ton on the radio when it came out. But I was in kindergarten when it came out, so I don't really have any thoughts on that. I do want to say, besides the gatefold problem, which is just kind of, you know, what's gonna happen when you stuff this when you stuff fucking shit in these things, a ton of it, like Vinyl Me Please does, which I'm thankful for. I would say this is a great release. I don't know if Vinyl Me Please still has them. It seemed like they were pretty sought after. But you can get like a standard edition of it too. It'll just be on boring black vinyl. It'll be on black vinyl. So if you don't give a shit about colors, which I totally understand, then you can probably just get the standard black version for like $25-$30 off of Queens of the Stone Age's website. And please do. Great album. Fucking annoying. Fucking annoying. I believe it stopped around the time I was talking about Queens of the Stone Age. Again, I don't think I said much else. Basically, I recommend getting it. I've lost my fucking train of thought. Goddamn. I recommend getting it. If you're interested in Vinyl Me Please or whatever, you might be able to sign up and still get it, but I'm not sure about that. You can probably just get it for standard black easily because it's being widely repressed, and a lot of their old Queens of Stone Age records are, like Lullabies to Paralyze and Era Vulgaris is finally getting pressed on 12 inches instead of 310 inches. Just thank God. I personally have never had it, but I've heard that the 10-inch versions of Era Vulgaris don't really sound that good. I don't really know why they bothered doing that too. It seems like kind of a waste, to be honest. But yeah, enough about Queens of the Stone Age. Let's get to the final record. Final record, everyone. Let's get this going. Hopefully I'll have less records next month, but considering it's Christmas, that might not be the case. But here is Donkey Kong Country 2. Diddy's Kong Quest. Before I get into... I might as well just cut to the chase and say that this record sounded great. I listened to it a few days ago, and I was very impressed with how well it sounded. Mostly because I was a little... I wasn't necessarily let down, but I was a little disappointed in the sound quality of the Luigi's Mansion vinyl, or lathe cut, rather. Yeah, but this is actual vinyl, like a vinyl record, not like a lathe cut. So I guess it's to be expected that it would sound better. So it's not really fair to compare the two. And this also isn't even the same person making them. This is by Kawadeka Records. Kawadeka Records, I think I'm saying that right. As far as I know, this is the only record they've released. They released several versions of it, some of which have different art from this one. And I believe the one I have was the last run they ever did. And it's like a clear vinyl with like a blue streak in the middle. And I think this looks really nice. I think it fits with the aesthetic of the cover, which is Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and Dixie Kong swimming underwater. Uh, and I like that it uses official art. I think that's really cool. And I wish more bootleg record, like, if you're gonna like make bootlegs of video game soundtracks on vinyl and stuff, I would really prefer if you use the existing art as opposed to doing something else with it. And this is just my personal opinion. And like, no offense to the people who got like custom art for their vinyl releases, but I don't know. It just seems like, for example, there's this one bootleg uh like distributor or manufacturer. I have no clue what to call these guys. A bootlegger, I guess. One bootlegger who goes by like Moonshake Records. I don't have any of their releases, but they've pressed a couple of video game soundtracks. But for every single one they do, they have a existing. They like make it a parody of an existing video or existing album. Like, for example, they pressed the Castlevania soundtrack on vinyl, right? But they made the album art a parody of London Calling, which is a parody of Elvis Presley, but still, you get the point. They were parodying London Calling, and that one's like okay, I guess. But I feel like it just kind of like strips the identity away from the album, like the video game soundtrack, and kind of like makes it like something else. Like, they did the Sonic 3 or the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 soundtrack, and it's based off the Thriller art. Like, the art of the album is Thriller, but it's Sonic instead of Michael Jackson. And I like Sonic's giving you the fuck me eyes in it, and I absolutely do not like that. But this one and the lathe cut, for the record, also like uses, or at least incorporates, existing concept art, so you kind of know what you're getting into. Overall, I really like this record. It even comes with like this, like a printout that you have. It seems a little redundant because it's just the album art, but it's nonetheless a nice touch. I don't know if I'll put it on my wall or anything. I don't think I have a frame that fits something like this. These dimensions are a little unusual, to say the least. But yeah, where did I get this? Well, I didn't get this in a record store, that's for sure. Some guy on the Vinyl Collectors subreddit was selling this for $85. And yeah, that's a lot of money. But it's actually a better price than most places. If you were looking online for this record, you probably see prices of like 120 or whatever, like up in like the low to mid 100s, which I wasn't gonna pay. I've been looking for this record for a while, and it's cool to finally have it. And I got it for a decent price. And the guy was nice. It took him a while to ship it out, but obviously it came here in one piece and sounded great. So no harm, no foul. I have to wonder if Kawadeka Records is ever pressing anything else. I imagine that these bootleggers are kind of like playing whack-a-mole with companies like Nintendo and stuff, because they're pretty hush-hush about a lot of their stuff. Like, they'll have like accounts or whatever where they announce releases, and then like a day later they'll immediately delete their post. So you have to be like in the know to even like figure out about these things when they're happening. Otherwise, you're gonna be left high and dry and have to suffer resale prices. Cause yeah, they're pretty secretive about the stuff, which I don't blame them for. Cause I'm sure if Nintendo found out that some guy was pressing, excuse me, some guy was pressing Donkey Kong Country on vinyl, then they'd fucking go after his ass like it's nothing. Which begs the question why they don't officially release their soundtracks on vinyl. I'm sure they have the master recordings, which can make it sound even better than someone just ripping it straight from the game. But oh, that's a conversation for another day, I suppose. And that's all the records. I'm surprised. Took me a while to get through this, but now you people have a nice hearty vlog to go and watch. Sorry for it getting cut off. I'm gonna have to look into getting a new camera because this thing shutting off after like a half hour or so of recording is really annoying. But yeah, I'll see you all next month, or maybe even earlier. Maybe I'll post another vlog if I think of the time, if I have like something to say or whatever. Until then, see you guys later.